He's going to come in here, probably try to snipe a couple of these.
You know, the thing that I do
buildings.
like about the Colossus in this situation is that it does allow you to maintain the mobility of your Void Rays and keep your army together.
Now, this is an interesting... Whoa, was that an EMP right there?
That was an EMP,
Wow,
so those units are going to have no shields. But the Colossus is killing the Marines pretty well, and I think these Void Rays will be enough to take out the remaining Marines. But there's Ghosts, actually. Those Ghosts are doing a fabulous job.
Are they sniping?
I don't think they can snipe the Void Rays because they're not biological.
Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. Careful shot dealing 45 damage in horde armor.
Only biological
units.
units.
So they were probably just doing the EMP. Still, that was pretty even trade, but great job with, for Grog pushing that back like that.
It was I don't know if it was a good trade, but if we look at resources lost, the Protoss has lost almost double the resources and units that the Terran has, and I think that's because while the Terran's losing mostly Marines, the Protoss is losing gas units. Yeah. So ultimately, that's gonna add up in the Terran's favor.
So I always do like how even a lot of the high-level games, the average APMs are still pretty, low overall. And I just like that. I like how in Starcraft 2 that speed does matter, but nowhere near as much as I feel like it could.
I think that also, though, it's important to remember in that respect that we are still,
of course, still in beta, and it will matter at some point.
If the Korean pro teams start playing the StarCraft 2 the way they play StarCraft 1,
yeah, I'm sure in no time
you'll see those
change,
300 APMs mattering tremendously. We have no pro Protosses that are using all their chrono boosts late game.
So we have Thors coming out for Grog, and we have upgrades still going up for Terran infantry. Now Thors with I know they're great against air, but how do you feel about that?
I feel like the Thors are going to be great right now. I think they're going to kill.
A battle going on right here.
Wow, that Colossus is in great positioning.
Yeah,
I think
incredible.
he has his upgrade. Got to pull those Void Rays out. They are getting hammered. The Void Rays will not stand up to the Vikings, though, actually.
These two Vikings need to pull back quick. Oh, jeez. This Thor has to come all the way back.
Now, I like the Thor against the Void Rays and the Colossuses. I don't
Not
like
with the Stalkers involved.
I don't like them against the Stalkers. No, the Stalkers will take those Thor down very quickly. Very quickly, indeed.
Now, does Terran have enough units to pull up here to protect
Grog's in a tough situation right now,
main.
actually. This could be a bad spot for him.
He's gonna lose. All right, he needs to get these. He needs to push these Void Rays.
Now
back
those Void Rays are going to be fully charged in a short while.
And there's nothing.
They
worse.
are now fully charged, and there's nothing you can do to stop them.
There's nothing worse than the fully charged Void Rays just attacking with so
fully
much
charged
raw
Void
power.
Rays in your base just do so much damage because there's almost no chance for them to lose their charge once they're unless you just leave them sitting and don't.
They are
attack
so
them.
low on health, but just there's all right, the great micro on with Grog's part. And I don't know if the Protoss player realizes this missile turret. I don't know if that Viking was covering that missile turret just so he couldn't see
Now,
or
the interesting thing
target
to notice
as
is the
easily.
missile turret will fire on the Colossus if it gets close enough to the missile turret. And I always think that's cute. But yeah, right now the Terran has a really good army composition against what the Protoss is doing. I like the SCVs. Well, no, he has a couple Vikings and a Thor, and that's just those not so good against.
Just repairing the Thor. The Thor is the only thing. This is a hero unit. This is the Warcraft 3 hero unit. Oh wow!
It does take down the the Thor is the gaining health instead of losing it. He's does not have enough Stalkers there. He's gonna have to pull back.
That's great. I wonder if that's gonna become like a more common thing of seeing Thors move out with SCVs to keep them alive.
That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool to watch. We have to realize that all of those SCVs are not mining right now, so his income must be suffering.
No, but he has the gold mineral patch, and even though it's not fully saturated, he is still bringing in.
He's still at half the income of blue, according to the overlay, and that is going to hurt him in the long run. The Protoss is making more Void Rays. And I don't know if I think that's the right choice at this point in the game, because while they're so good and they do extra bonus damage, they do a lot of damage to the Thors because they are able to charge up on the Thors. They just take so much damage from the Thors. I don't know if I like him still making Void Rays at this point. He can find a better use for his gas, I think.
I think he needs to, I think he understands that he right now has the the benefit of being the aggressor. That Grog is at the point where he is pulling, SCVs off minerals just to keep some units alive. So he wants to keep this pressure on, even if the Void Ray harass, I don't know if that still could be a good idea, just because Grog has so few units, he could just go around and be picking off, buildings from the side.
Now, one thing that we can talk about too that I think we're not focusing on as much is the fact that what the Terran could be doing differently, because right now it does look like he's in a bad situation, and he's
now. What's the best counter against stalkers like this?
Honestly,
is it just Marines and Marauders, or
no, stalkers are pretty good against Marines. Marauders are really good against stalkers, but I think that the best thing Terran could be doing right now would be to build some tanks and to abuse the how strong
how overpowered they are.
They're not. I don't want to say overpowered, but how strong they are. Because in this situation, if you had tanks and Vikings, which is a great combo to begin with, the Vikings would be very effective at killing the Void Rays, and the tanks would be pretty much effective at killing anything else.
I want to see the income bar again. I feel,
right now we've normalized a little bit because I think the Protoss's main has finally mined out.
But I feel like the Terran might need to expand.
Yeah, his income is surprisingly low for a high yield mineral patch. I think that's because you only have those six mineral fields. People say that how much better the high yields are.
We have a lot more saturation in general. We have very, very heavy saturation right here for the Protoss on his only mineral patch.
Now, I do like how the Protoss is building more Zealots at this point. I think it's because he does have a lot of gas, so he could be building something like Sentries or more Stalkers. But the Zealots are going to be really good against what the Terran is building now, which is these Vikings, which is these Marines and the Hellions, the Vultures.
Now, this is such a tense moment, such a hard place to be in for both players, of being like, we need to keep committing to army because we are going such back and forth, and just not even having the minerals to worry about any kind of macro game.
Yeah.
But these Thors are just so powerful right now against everything that's happening. They're just tearing apart these Stalkers, tearing apart everything that's warping in. What can the Protoss player do right now to stop this push?
At this point,
oh, jeez.
He can leave the game. I would have liked to see the Protoss player... he was starting to get his Templar Archives. That could have helped him stay in if he had got a little bit sooner. Thors are tough to deal with. You basically, against Thors, you sort of need to have Immortals, or I like using the feedback of the High Templar. The other thing that's really good against them is Zealots once you can get them into range, but they do kill Stalkers quickly, and they do kill Colossus pretty quickly.
Yeah, and it's pretty crazy because, again, the Protoss player had such... so much more minerals coming in, almost double for a long part of the game. So do you just feel it was just a bad, he just never transitioned correctly?
I feel like he kept building Void Rays way too late into the game, and he had essentially a Void Ray Stalker Colossus army, and which are all good units, but I feel like the Terran player had a really good composition against that, and his army was very flexible. I mean, he had Marines, Thors, and what else did he have? He had Marines, Thors, some Hellions, but those were late.
And the Vikings.
The Vikings
are huge.
So I think that composition of the fact that you have Thors, Marines, and Vikings is something that's going to be really good to take out the Void Rays, and then really good against the Stalkers.
Yeah. Well, again, I feel like maybe the Protoss player might have quit a little early, just because I liked how at that moment right here before in that battle when Grog was, it was like Grog's going to lose right here. Is he going to come back? He just pulls those SCVs, keeps that one Thor alive, and pushes back like a small army.
Well, Protoss doesn't have any real emergency button like that. I mean, I think he did leave at the right time. I would have liked to see a GG, but I mean, what can he really do now? His minerals are pretty low. I could see maybe like 3 or so Immortals saving the day and killing those Thors enough so that way another round, a warping of Zealots could hold. But I mean, right now he only has 200 minerals, and that's only 2 Zealots. So I really don't see much that he could have done at this point.
Cool. All right. Good game. GG.